Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of 30 Minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television. I'm Manir Dan Ali. My guest today is a farmer and somebody who has served or is serving at the apex body of the farmers of Nigeria. That is the president of All Farmers Association of Nigeria, architect Kabiru Ibrahim Paskari. Alhaji Kabir, welcome to 30 Minutes.
Thank you very much for having me.
I don't know, maybe we should start about your, should I say, bona fide, that's been a farmer. You were telling me shortly before we came on air that actually you have been the president of Nigerian Poultry Association, that is countrywide, before you became the president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria. So can we begin from your actual farming activities, not the politics and the bureaucracy of farming?
Well, yeah, I began poultry farming because I wanted to diversify. I trained as an architect. I was doing business as an architect, but when politics came in 1999, I realized that since I didn't belong to any party, I needed a business with a very fast asset conversion rate. And I looked around and I settled on poultry, knowing that if you did poultry for meat, within 6 weeks, you would go to the market.
That's broiler farming.
Broiler farming. And then if you raised chicken for egg, within 22 weeks, you would start smiling at the, you go to the bank.
Yeah.
So I began this in earnest in 2001. I founded my farm. I called it Kabiru Farms Limited. It's in Katsina. Everybody knows it.
Is it in Katsina city or is it in your locality of Paskari?
In Katsina, because you can't sell that volume of egg in a village. You had to get a large place to be able to sell it. I was a businessman. I started by putting about 20,000 birds. To do commercial poultry farming, you need about 5,000 birds. Now, 20,000 birds, even at 70% production, you will not be able to sell the egg in Paskari, for instance. I do agronomy in Paskari. Right?
That's crop farming?
Crop farming, yes. That's what you can do in the rural areas. But you need to be very close to a very large market to do effective poultry farming.
And what has been your experience with poultry so far?
Well, hitherto, all my kids were just growing up then. That's why I diversified. I was able to use the business to really send them to school. All of them are now grown up. My last child is 26 years old, of age, and is already a graduate. He's consulting in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And in the beginning, about 3 of them, I trained them from poultry, from proceeds that I was getting from poultry. But these days, because of so many challenges, skyrocketing prices of the feed, insecurity and all that, the poultry farmers are folding up all over the country.
But in your own case, did you get a bank loan or was it your own seed money that you put in there?
In the beginning, I used my own resources. But in 2013, I took a loan under CACS. And even the loan went bad. I am still paying from my other businesses. To fund agriculture, you need a very long moratorium, and you need an enabling environment to be able to do agriculture very well. I was unlucky when I took money from the bank. The Boko Haram incident came, and the market of all these items went bad, and therefore my business went bad. But because I told you I trained as an architect and I have many other avenues. I'm using those up to now to pay that. But generally speaking, the farmers are not able to repay loans because of the circumstances that we are here in Nigeria today.
Does that suggest that in your own case, you are no more into poultry? You've moved on?
No, I am in poultry. I still have the facilities and all that, but it is not lucrative. It is not doable now because not many people can buy egg at over 2,000 naira. or chicken at 5,000 or so. I am a businessman. I'm doing agriculture as a businessman. I'm not laundering money. I'm not earning
And
money.
you are not doing it as a hobby.
No, I'm not doing. I told you I started with 20,000, and I got to 50,000 broilers. That's not ABCD. In where I come from, the temperatures get to over 40 degrees centigrade. So productivity is hampered by that. And then when you raise broilers also, heat also affects them. So there are many things that I have to do that other people will not have to do. So I look at the circumstances of the business, and now we are like on a break. Definitely we can't do it now because the feed is very costly and all that. But we are doing other things. We are doing large ruminants. We do fishery, and then of course we do a bit of agronomy. And then we have an orchard.
But there's a big challenge with large ruminants, because if I understand you are talking about maybe up to cows, because there is this big issue of insecurity. The animals are rustled, and if you keep animals almost anywhere now, your worry is almost day to day whether they've been rustled.
Yes, but I told you I'm a businessman. I'm not doing free range. I'm doing zero grazing for my animals, and so they are not rustled. But what I'm doing is I'm cross breeding. I'm doing many things, value addition on the things that I do. Indeed, there is a very high price in terms of the feed components, because even wheat offal now is going for about 9,000, 8,000. We used to buy it to 1,000, 2,000. So things are a bit difficult now, but certainly things can be a lot better, even for the people who do free range, because at some point you need to give the animals like salt lick, you need to give them medication. Sometimes you also need to give them feed.
What about the crop farming, which you say you are doing around your village, around Paskari, where incidentally the military super camp is based?
In Paskari, about 1 kilometer westward, you can't even go to your farm.
You mean out of the town?
Out of the town, yes. My ancestral farm is around Sabwa, after Sabwa.
Which is probably worse.
3 years now, I haven't been there, because even the people who live around there cannot farm there. So it's very difficult because of insecurity. But it's all over. It's all over Katsina State. If you go to the Safana area, Jibia area, Bas area, the story is the same. So our productivity is hampered by insecurity. And this is what is causing the turbulence in food prices that you see in Nigeria today. In fact, we were looking at this problem as just Boko Haram in the northeast. The problem now is in the northwest, north central, and in fact we can say all over Nigeria.
But do we have statistics? Because you see, there are all these reports that are saying in Zamfara, in parts of Sokoto, in parts of Niger states, parts of Katsina, parts of Kaduna, that you cannot go to the farm. Are there statistics that could show that maybe this insecurity has affected, is it 10%, 5%, or even less of farming activities, or is it much more than that?
You see, in Nigeria, and in all aspects of what we do in Nigeria, statistics are not very reliable. But when you have a large number of people getting out of business because of a reason, the tendency is that people will say many people are not able to. In percentages, you want to hazard a guess, but my background is science. I am not going to just give a loose percentage, but I can tell you that so many farmers are not able to go to their farms readily. And therefore, that's why there is a nexus between insecurity and food security. The insecurity is hampering food security at the minute. In fact, food sufficiency.
And is there anything you are doing? You are leading a group of very prominent farmers, including, former governors, former, senators, even chairman of one of the big political parties. Is all under your umbrella group.
Well, I know I took over this position from Senator, or His Excellency, Abdullahi Adamu. He's farming in Nasarawa. He doesn't have too much of this insecurity we are talking about, but he knows very well. If you ask him, probably he would say more. He is aware of this. Every farmer gets this information from fellow farmers. But what we do is we tell the farmers that security is everybody's concern. And we are continually urging government to do more, like Oliver Twist. We must do something about insecurity. Otherwise, in fact, it's existential now. If we don't have enough food, our people do not produce optimally, everybody will cry for it, and then our wages are stagnant. The value of our purchasing power of our naira is dwindling every day. Therefore, we must take action and ensure that there is security. Otherwise, there will be terrible trouble ahead. So everybody should really look at security as their own problem. The government should do more. We are not saying it's not doing enough, but we expect government to do more, because cost of living is now, is hitting the roof.
But have you provided any support to the farming communities that are affected by this? Because almost on a daily basis, we see pictures on our screen, on our handheld, of farming communities that cannot farm, that are even actually now facing the issue of just feeding themselves because they have been rendered internally displaced by the bandits.
Well, you know that we are an NGO. We are an advocacy group. What we do is we tell the farmers to form groups, vigilante groups on their own to protect themselves. And then, of course, you said there is even a super camp in Faskari. In fact, I am the architect of the college that they are using. And my own house is being used as a temporary location for the command secondary school there. So every farmer is aware that they have to put in their utmost to secure the places in which they farm. Because if you take Faskari, for instance, 99% of the population is agrarian. We have no other business than that. So people are forming groups, vigilante groups, to protect themselves, but that is not enough.
But why is it that in spite of the super camp and all these vigilantes, you yourself said 1 kilometer outside Faskari, you can't dare go there?
The issue is this. You see, the blame game will not go anywhere, will not take us anywhere. Everybody knows there is insecurity all over Nigeria. What is bringing it probably is inequity. When a people feel that they are shortchanged by any system, some of them who don't have scruples will take the law into their hands, and then they can be thieves, they can be bandits, they can be anything. But if there is a semblance of equity, and then you take the fight to the bandits, not wait for them until they attack before you go, you might be able to mitigate it. You see, what I have preferred in so many fora, because we are representing farmers on so many communities, so many committees.
Right.
Like the Ministry of Defense once put us in a committee that we went around from Taraba, we came to Benue, to Nasarawa, to Gusau, to Zamfara and to Katsina at that time. We looked at it and said, look, these forests all over the place, even Sambisa, what is the economic value of these forests to Nigeria? To Nigeria.
Right.
I proffered a solution. I even gave it at ONSA, in the office of the NSA, that probably if you defoliated some of these trees and sectorially bulldoze part of these forests, you might be able to see the marauders as you chase them out of the forest. They would come into open land and you can apprehend them there or decimate them or whatever you want to do.
Well, what about technology? Because probably there are heat-seeking technologies that can even show where there are people.
I'm sorry, I'm a farmer. I'm not an expert in security. But there is abundant technology to enable you to pinpoint where anybody is hiding in this world. If you just recently, you can see the Americans killed al-Zawahiri. When he came to his balcony, they shot him and killed him.
The leader of the Al-Qaeda movement.
Yes. So, technology is available for Nigeria to be able to deal with some of these bandits. If you look at what happened to the people who were abducted on the train, they sent a video beating up these people and all that. And now some people are paying their way out of that place. It means that we can locate that place and decimate them. You see, there will be collateral damage. And even in Islam, you're a Muslim. I mean, if many people are going to be jeopardized because of the action of a few, you can lose the few so that the majority will live a better life.
I think on that note, we should go on a short break and resume the conversation when we return. Welcome back. It is still 30 minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television. Before we went on break, we were talking about how insecurity has affected agriculture and all what have you, and the efforts being made. What has happened to the agro ranges that were announced with Farm Fair? We were told that there is a special unit of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps that is going to be helping in keeping farmers safe on their land. Or has it disappeared into thin air?
No, they are still there. But the farmers in Nigeria can be loosely said to be 40 million. The entire civil defense team, how many are they? So they will not be able to take care of the nation, just like the army, the police, all the armed forces are not sufficient to really, make sure that every farmer goes to his or her farm. You see, that's why I said security should be everybody's problem. You cannot just rely on government. Certainly government has all it takes to ensure that it is there, but it needs help. If your son is one of those people causing problems and you know it, if you cannot stop the son, you report him. That is the only way you will save your other sons. But if we ourselves know that our children are part of the problem and we keep quiet and protect them, then we are jeopardizing the whole nation. That kind of thing should not happen. People should be able to be their brothers and sisters keepers. If there is a problem and people are not able to produce food, even you who live in the city will suffer for it. Because right now, if you go to the market to buy any food item, you pay through your nose. Your wage, even here, cannot cater for all the prices, the hike we see here. This is not only, we are talking of insecurity. That's why we are limiting this matter to insecurity.
Actually, I wanted us to go beyond insecurity to now talk about the other limiting factors to farming activities in Nigeria. If you are talking of crop farming, there is the issue of the right seeds, there is the issue of fertilizer, there's the issue of mechanization and all what have you. I saw just this week, one of the state government is just launching the sale of fertilizer when the rainy season, which is the main, agri activity season, is midway. And I was just shaking my head and wondering, how do you see that?
You see, there is politics and there is also agriculture. We must draw a line between them. If anybody is giving you a certain type of fertilizer out of time, of course you will have to just use it for the following year. But we encourage our people to also farm their round. So I don't think whoever you saw giving out fertilizer at subsidized prices or even free is doing any harm. He is doing more good than harm, because we are encouraging our farmers to even use it all year round. We encourage all year round agriculture. We encourage climate smart agriculture. We encourage the deployment of technology and innovation in agriculture.
But all these are missing. For example, the fertilizer is too little, too late. Some individuals end up getting a mudu of fertilizer, and they have acres or hectares of land to farm on, and then the price this year has gone through the roof. Some say because of Ukraine and many other things, that's the war in Ukraine.
Well, let me tell you what has happened to fertilizer. You see, in 2020, from 2015 to 2020, we were buying 20-10-10 that we were blending with some of the components from Morocco. It was being sold for 5,500, and we had a lot of it. In fact, in 2020, because of the COVID-19 effect, the chairman of the PFI, the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, gave further subsidy so that the fertilizer sold at 5,000. But the NSIA said
that the Sovereign Investment Agency
said the subsidy was too much for them, because that fertilizer that we were buying at 5,000 was actually coming to them at over 7,000. So that subsidy was.
But you can't get it even then in the market at that price. It's only maybe to a select few, because the real farmers who buy in the market end up buying it at a higher price.
No, if you are talking of a period between 2015 and 2019, I can hit my chest to tell you that whoever is saying that doesn't know what was happening. We were able to buy a large percentage of what we needed as farmers at that 5,000, 5,500. But this only affected 2010. If you went looking for 15, you would pay a little more. If you went looking for urea, you had to pay a little more. Fertilizers are not just generic.
I know very well.
There are various types.
Yes.
So this one where the government really intervened and provided the enabling environment, up till 2020, it was possible to buy it there. But of course, there are middlemen in every business you do in Nigeria, and we have a mixed economy. If a person buys this fertilizer from anywhere and takes it to a different place, of course, they will put their markup and all that.
But if we come to the present, this year, fertilizer is being sold, the urea is between 20 to 23, and NPK, that's the compounded fertilizer with all the different things, is between 24 to 26 or 7,000 naira per bag.
Yes.
As recent as last week.
I will even correct you.
Yes.
You are not a farmer, you don't know. In fact, we bought fertilizer at 35,000 in some places. Even the 2010 you are talking about is about 25,000 now.
But I'm talking of, I bought this fertilizer less than a week ago in Gwagwalada.
You bought it how much?
Between 24,500 to 26,000 naira.
Fine. If you bought it in July, isn't it late for application in some areas? So the price of fertilizer is definitely going down because the need, we are getting out of the need. But when you bought it at the right time, that was what it was selling. I get this barometer, I hear from all farmers all over Nigeria.
Right.
AFAN is present in 774 local governments. We are aware of this. But I will tell you why you have these problems. You know, I told you, fertilizer, we were buying fertilizer from the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative at 5,000 and 5,500. Beyond 2020, when the NSIA removed its hand, and the blenders were allowed to blend and sell at their prices and to buy the raw material through NSIA at the correct price. Of course, in 2021, the prices at the blending plants was about 11,000.
But if we come back, I like us to talk of the present. The present, this is the over 20,000, and which is kind of too expensive for a lot of farmers, especially the subsistence ones who are the large chunk of the 40 million farmers you mentioned.
Fertilizer problems, I did so many webinars. It's not only in Nigeria, it's all over Africa. Fertilizer prices are very high all over.
What about seeds? Because that's another
now
hot button.
Seed, there is also a misunderstanding of what is seed. I am a member of the National Seed Council. Seed is different from grain. You must use seed to get optimum performance. Seed is sold as seed, and the seed is guided. We just got in 2019, we got the Seed Act.
But why is it that? Because you see, for the ordinary farmer, it's not the act, it's not all the council. What he just needs, or she just needs, is certified seeds from outlets close to that person, and they are not available. Because you find that a lot are masquerading as good seeds, and then you only find out at the harvest that it's the wrong seed that has been packaged.
You see, what I am telling you now is, if you are a farmer and you take our advice and we tell you to do it as a business, there are many, many seed companies. I led looking at the seed companies in the Northwest. Premier Seed is very old, it's in Zaria. They produce seeds and they package it, and we have what we call the seed codex on it. You scratch it like you scratch your card on the telephone, and to be sure that it is good seed. That is the kind of seed that a farmer should buy. You don't go to the market in the open place and say you are buying seed. That is why you have the adulteration. But now, because of the act, and I mentioned the act because the act now regulates the sale of seed. You shouldn't just buy seed anyhow. Seed should be regulated for even safety and productivity, and it's a business. So
can we move to mechanization then?
Yes. Mechanization is a very wonderful thing to mention here today. From 2017, this government has been talking about borrowing 1.1 billion worth, money from Brazil to bring in tractors and combined harvesters and so many. That thing is still work in progress. We don't have it. But even then, we are buying 10,000 tractors thereabout. Nigeria needs over 100,000. So we have very low mechanization in Nigeria. And this
and why is it so?
Over time, we have not invested properly. And then we have not encouraged production internally. Because you don't get self-sufficient if you don't produce here. Well, look at the foreign exchange and all that. If you are relying on importing anything, you pay through your nose now. What Nigeria should have done from many, many years is to be able to fabricate some of the components of the tractor, for instance, before even going to the engine.
Which is what Naseni and Amti and all the others are trying to do.
They are encouraging, and they are making very good effort.
Can we briefly touch on also the issue of minimum price guarantee for crops? In other climates, that is what you have, so that you can decide whether this year you want to do soybean or you want to do corn, maize, or whatever it is. Why are we in the model we are?
There is GMP also in Nigeria, the guaranteed minimum price. From 2008, it has been there. But you need to support it to make it work. First, the government should intervene when prices, during harvest, when prices are moderately low, to buy and keep in their storages. The storages are one of the 4 pillars that the administration of Eradua first addressed, and we got our storage capacity to 1.3 million metric tons. The purpose is to be able to buy all the surplus grains and keep in those silos and bring them out when prices are high like now. Now, what has happened is that we have not had any reasonable quantities of these grains in the silo. In 2019, we had about 100,000 metric tons in our silo. In panic, because of COVID-19, we couldn't even go out. Nobody could go out. Everybody was on his own. And every
the silos were emptied.
70,000 of the 100,000 were given out as palliatives to people. And since then, there has been inflation. When there is inflation, if you buy, you exacerbate it. That is why the government has not intervened properly. Now we are in a catch-22. If this situation, perseveres, it continues, we might not be able to do anything because our silos or our storages are empty. So and every country in the world is facing the same thing. You can just see that in a war now between Ukraine and Russia. Just 2 days ago, there are some vessels carrying wheat, and they have
via Turkey and all of that agreement.
And that is going to finish even in Lebanon, and all the other countries rely on it. Even in Nigeria, I have a bakery. I had to close it because of the price of flour.
So I think on that note, we should come to the end of this edition of 30 Minutes. Viewers, that is it. It is 30 Minutes from Trust Television.